Just a quick sound check. Yes, I think it works. Hi everybody. Salam azizan. Khosh amadin. Khoye mirach alama. We will carry on the program in English for the time being. I want to welcome you all. We are gathered here to commemorate the death of our dear Gina Mahsa Amini and the many others who fell after her in defense of her blood, her shed blood, and also in solidarity with our sisters and our siblings in Iran who are fighting every day and paying with their blood. We have a program, a full program for you today. At first I'm going to invite Saeedeh to open the program and then we will move on to our next speakers. Thank you so much for coming.
We would like to open today's gathering by thanking you all to be here today. Your presence in this gathering and similar ones that are taking place in other cities in the world is invaluable to us, and we all Iranian, inside and outside of Iran, appreciate it. In fact, the last 2 weeks, one of the major phenomena that we witnessed was the worldwide solidarity gatherings that took place in more than 200 cities. Millions of people from Ontario in Canada to New York to Amsterdam to Rome, Paris, Tokyo, etc. is in more than 200 cities around the world come to the streets to show their solidarity with men and women in Iran who are fighting for democracy and freedom. This presence is really heartwarming for us and also puts pressure on politicians and policymakers to feel responsible and act. So again, thank you all for being here today. Very briefly, I would like to point out a couple of important events that took place in the last 2 weeks. Last Friday, at the southeast of Iran, in the province of Sistan and Baluchistan, more than 100 people were killed and more than 300 were injured, among which were tens of children. Key question that we should ask here are why that is possible. Why the Islamic Republic of Iran is able to murder more than 100 Baluch people in one day. And finally, how this event related to women's rights. For a long time during its whole history, the Islamic Republic of Iran has followed a specific pattern to suppress people around the country and maintain the power in its hands. The regime has constantly marginalized and dehumanized different groups and classes of people and then used this group against each other. Poor people in the margin of big cities against the middle class, Kurds against people in the center, Arabs and Turks against Fars, Baha'is against Muslim, and so on. One application of this marginalization and dehumanization for this system during the social uprising is that these groups and classes of people can be easily and brutally attacked on to frighten the people in the center. After decades of keeping people in Baluchistan in poverty, portraying them as dangerous drug smugglers, it is easy for the system to murder more than 100 of them in one day. In the same way, women in Iran have also been marginalized and dehumanized for many years. They have never been an equal part of the society. That is why when Iranian women are acting against compulsory hijab, they are actually fighting a political tool which has been forced upon them to deprive them from their basic rights. Hijab in Iran is not a religious choice, but a political instrument. Having that said, we would like to express our deepest condolences to all our friends, family, and fellow citizens of Sistan and Baluchistan. Number two, one of the most unprecedented events that we witnessed in the last 2 weeks was participating teenagers, schoolgirls, in the protests all over the country. This is something new which deserves attention. It shows how deeply rooted is call for freedom and democracy in new generation. It shows a total failure for a regime who had all resources to force its ideology on people. Even the military officials in Iran confirmed that the average age of protesters in this round of uprising has been around 15 years old. Unfortunately, regime has no shame to kill these beloved teenagers and lie about their deaths in their media, like they did for Mahsa, Nika, Sarina, and many more beautiful lives. And lastly, in the last 2 weeks, the major universities of Iran were under brutal attack by IRGC and undercover forces. Especially we should mention the University of Sharif, which is known as Iran's MIT, University of El Mosanat and University of Tabriz were attacked by police and many students were arrested and injured. Today, we would also like to express our solidarity with our friends at these universities. Thank you for your patience. Zan Zendegi Azadi.
Thank you so much, Saide. I would like to, today we have a few women, Iranian women and queer folk who are going to come and share their accounts in Iran, their lived experiences. So I would like to welcome our first speaker to tell us about her experiences.
Hello everyone. I like to tell you about one of my experience here. I mean, not here in Iran. I'm a student like maybe some of you also. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous. Well, all of you, I think you know about Mahsa Amini and what happened and how a morality police had behaved with her. So I think all of you are aware of that. But also, I think you know that the new situation in Iran and how women are protesting right now. But I want to tell you, this is not the first time that women in Iran doing that. It's not the first time that women are arresting or they behaving bad with women. So I like to tell you just one of my experience, and I'm sure that there are several other experiences even between you or other people. So about 5 years ago in Iran, it was one social movement. We call it دختران خیابان انقلاب, or it was girls of Engelab Street. In that movement, some girls, they were going on top of a box, a kind of box, and they took something on their, their scarf on their hand, and they protesting against compulsory hijab. So they didn't want to have hijab. And that time, polices or different forces, they were arresting them. And yeah, I don't know about some of them still, so I think some of them are fine, some of them are immigrated. So here I want to tell you about my story. Actually, I wasn't that much, I didn't wanted to that much have a political act, or I was kind of ordinary student that I once traveled with my friends in another city that I'm not living. I was in other city of Iran, and we were with my friends, and I wanted to, yeah, we thought that, yeah, we can have a kind of protest here that, yeah, we don't like, all of us, we don't like hijab, so why not? And we did this act in a not that much crowded area. It was a bit crowded, but not that much. And immediately after that, when we had our scarf in our hand, I don't know what they call it, a kind of undercover police, or we call it Basij, or I'm not sure what their name. They came and they asked us to go with them. And then when we went with them, they asked us, okay, why you did that? Do you have a connection with the foreign, I don't know, opposition? Or do you have a connection with other countries? I said, no, we just wanted to say we don't like having a hijab. And I said, no, well, you have done it. And in the end, they give us a kind of paper that we sign it that, yeah, they told us advice. And after that, we're not going to have hijab anymore. We're going to have hijab after that, and we're not going to do that anymore. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous. And yeah, we signed that paper, and after that, immediately, another type of police, or don't know what I should name them again, they closed our eyes, and we went to somewhere else, still I don't know where there was. And yeah, we were in an individual cell, we had to wait for the integration too. They asked us so many stupid questions, and even so many really personal question, that private question, that I'm never going to answer this kind of question even to my friends. Unfortunately, I don't really want to talk about that question right now, and how they behave us. Actually, I think it was a kind of emotional torture, that because if you didn't behave good, that they say that, yeah, we're going to hit you, or you're going to stay in a cell for next year. And yeah, the only problem there was that I decided to talk about this story. They didn't let us to call our family there. They didn't let us that I was travel with my friends. Definitely my mother was waiting for me, that I called to her that I'm alive, I arrived to the city, or I'm okay, I'm somewhere. But they didn't let us to call even the period we were there. And yeah, the reason that I'm telling you that right now when we are standing all here, there are so many students, so many people like me, that they just wanted to, yeah, protest about something that they don't like. They are somewhere that their family don't know where are they. They don't have any news from them. And recently we know about Nika, that after 10 days, they back the family, her body back to their family. And they didn't have any news in 10 days. So, yeah, I think people who are in a jail or wherever they are, that we don't know where it is exactly, they don't have any voice. And if you are here, you have the voice to talk for them or instead of them. And thank you, and sorry, I was super nervous, I couldn't really express my thing.
زن زندگی آزادی، زن زندگی آزادی، زن زندگی آزادی، مرگ بر دیکتاتور، 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 مرگ بر دیکتاتور. Down with dictator, down with dictator, down with dictator, down with dictator. Weg, weg, weg,
مهتاب یکی میگه آی آدم ها یا همه با هم یا همه تنها خاک بیداریم تا فردا خاک این گندم تو خیابونه خوشه خشم من و تو تشنه بارون حق ما کم نیست زانوی غم نیست قلب ما که دور از هم نیست دنیای تاره این یا حسه پنجره تارو یا بازه از گلوی تو تا صدای ما بلا چاو بلا چاو بلا چاو 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 میپریم از خواب یه شب مهتاب یکی میگه آی آدم ها یا همه با هم یا همه تنها ما که بیداریم تا فردا
برای توی کوچه رقصیدن برای ترسیدن به وقت بوسیدن برای خواهرم خواهرت خواهرامون برای تغییر مغزها که پوسیدن برای شرمندگی برای بیپولی برای حسرت یک زندگی معمولی برای کودک زبالگرد و آرزوهاش برای این اقتصاد دستوری برای این هوای آلوده برای ولیعصر و درختای فرسوده برای پیروز و احتمال انقراضش برای سگهای بیگناه ممنوعه برای گریه های بیوقفه برای تصویر تکرار این لحظه برای چهره‌ای که میخنده برای دانش آموزا برای آینده برای این بهشت اجباری برای نخبه های زندانی برای کودکان افغانی برای این همه برای غیر تکراری برای این همه شعارهای تو خالی برای آوار خونه های پوشالی برای احساس آرامش برای خورشید پس از شبای طولانی برای غمسای اعصاب و بیخوابی برای مرد میهن آبادی برای دختری که آرزو داشت پسر بود برای زن زندگی آزادی برای آزادی برای آزادی برای آزادی
Please give it up for our next speaker, P.
Hello, hi. I asked Saida if it was possible to have a few words before we get on with everything that's going to happen today. I just wanted to say that your mere presence is highly appreciated. We're just trying to spread awareness, and sorry, I'm a bit taken back because the song is really emotional for me personally, and the fact that we still have to talk about women's rights is sad. I really hope that this will not be an issue in the future, and this has never to be raising up again, ever. It should just shouldn't. I think that what's happening in Iran is well, it was high time for this to happen, for us to fight back, and that the way they're treating the fellow protesters is just inhumane. There's no other way of saying it. This is the only word we can use for it, inhumane. And I really hope that it just stops. That's pretty much it.
I also wanted to continue what our brother says, that if we at this moment are here, the reason is that because 40 years ago we were not happy, but nobody stand up. In these 40-something years, everyone just suppressed their feeling. They just continue having a normal life, but it was not normal life. They thought that it's going to be ever finished, but it didn't. And now if we don't stand up and if we don't continue to stabilize against this forced regime that is in Iran, they will just continue this pressure. So from one moment it should stop. And if we don't push this pressure from here or from all the other part of the world to them, it will never stop. They will continue their cruelty over and over. And there was just one example, but a lot of us comes from all these little or big examples here, that we all the time suffered, we all the time didn't have a normal life. I never could walk with a boyfriend hand in hand in the street because it was just not allowed. What kind of stupid life it is? How you can live in 21st century but you cannot choose your partner? That's stupid. But also it's also very much stupid that you are being choose what to wear or not to wear. I mean, we are living in not in the Stone Age. It is 100 years ago here in the Netherlands, ladies fight to their rights, and we want the same, but 100 years after, but we still can't get it. And it is very strange and stupid that they are being so much pushed and suppressed from all over the world. And the leaders of the world also seems that they do not hear because they are sort of like thirsty of some political issues or some let's say what is it, oil or gas or whatever, that they do not want to destroy the relationship with these Islamic Republic leaders. But we really want all the sanctions possible for them, and we really want the freedom of Iran and people of Iran for that.
I think we need to up the energy of this protest. So I'm gonna do a crowd favorite. مرگ بر خامنه‌ای، 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 زن زندگی آزادی، زن زندگی آزادی، زن زندگی آزادی، زن زندگی آزادی. Woman life freedom. 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 Frau leve vrijheid. Frau leve vrijheid. Frau leve vrijheid. Frau leve vrijheid. Weg, weg, weg. Molla moet weg. 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 Thank you so much. Let's welcome Arya to the stage, everybody. Thank you.
Hello everyone. My name is Arya. I'm a girl from Iran. Before I start my speech, I want to ask everyone, listen to my story. Regardless of all these borders that exist between the countries, all these borders that people made between me and you within the years. If you look in the earth, there is no borders between us naturally. There is no mountains or stones or trees that made us separate. I want you to ask that you listen to my story while you imagine there is no borders between us. Tehran, the capital of Iran, is the second most famous city in the world for gender reassignment surgery. You might ask how this fact is going to show the crimes of Islamic Republic. Government of Iran forced thousands of homosexuals in Iran to change their gender because the government of Iran believes that a gay man has a soul of a woman and have to change the gender to be able to sleep with a man. And a lesbian woman has a gender of a man and should change the gender to be able to sleep with another woman. As a result of this crime, many of young homosexual Iranian change their gender, and because it's against their will, they face too much problems and deep depressions. And after a while, many of them decide to commit suicide. When I was 16 years old, I started feeling that I have feeling to same sex. I have feeling to same-sex gender. And as I teached, I thought I have a problem. So I reached a psychologist and to getting a help. He put me under hypnosis to heal what they called problem. And after unsuccessful treatment, he decided to put me through this gender reassignment surgery. When I was at the middle of this long process, I realized that I love my body, that I have no problem with my body, and I decided to not to do that. But I couldn't announce that publicly to my family or to my doctor. So I backed to them and lied that I have no longer feeling to any same gender. But I knew that I have, and I had to keep it as a secret for 2 years until the day that I had to leave my country without saying goodbye to my friends and my families. Today, I live happily with the girl of my dreams. Today I laugh, but I never forgive them to what they did to me. And I can't forget what they are doing to people like me. I hope that one day homosexuals in Iran can come out safely and don't need to keep this as a secret for themselves. Thank you so much for listening to my speech.
I want to ask everyone to chant in solidarity with queer and trans Iranians. Queer life freedom! Queer life freedom! Queer life freedom! Queer life freedom! Trans life freedom! Trans life freedom! Trans life freedom! Trans life freedom! Thank you! Let's welcome Saide back to the stage.
This is my personal story I want to share with you. I was born in Iran in a prison of Islamic regime. A few days before my birth, my father was executed because he was a political activist. And my mother had a lifetime sentence for the same reason. She was tortured a lot during her pregnancy. When I was surprisingly born alive, on that horrifying day in prison, the so-called doctor came to my mother and said, "Oh, you have a girl. Unfortunately for you, you have a girl. A girl never can take revenge for his father and for you. She cannot do anything." Although it was a personal story, the personal is so political, especially in my land. This is a story of Iranian woman in many generations who has considered as weak, second gender, and even second-class citizen. For 43 years and more,
Merci Saïda!
the girls who has been forced to wear hijab and segregated from the society, the girls who has murdered on the hands of their fathers and brothers because of their choice of love, the girls who had to fight for their most basic rights, like watching a football game in a stadium, wearing their favorite clothes and blowing their hair in the wind. Now, I'm so proud to see the brave women in my country who raised up for their rights, to say a big no to fascist, criminal Islamic regime, to say a big no to all this ethnic, gender, and religious suppression, to say a big no to Khamenei and his totalitarian regime. We are chanting woman life freedom as the society never break free when its women are not free. هر شلاقی که فرود می آید دو صدا دارد. یک صدا را شلاق زن می شنود، صدای دیگر را شلاق شده. ما صدای دوم شلاقیم. کدام صدا قوی تر است؟ عرقش را شلاق زن پاک می کند، ما نیز عرقمان را پاک می کنیم. شلاق بعدی را که می زند می گوییم محکمتر از این هم می توانید بزنیدمان آقا. ما شما را محکمتر از این زدیم.
ژن آزادی، ژن آزادی، ژن آزادی، ژن آزادی، زن زندگی آزادی، زن زندگی آزادی، زن زندگی آزادی، زن زندگی آزادی. Women life freedom, women life freedom, women life freedom, women life freedom. Frau Leife frei. again for the brave Iranian women and queer folk who shared their stories with us today. Thank you all so much.
Instruments that two of the friends are spreading them between you. So if you have empty hands and if you want, please grab one because now we are going for the marching. So you can also join with the instruments and the percussion, and we can make a one united sound that all Groningen can hear us and we can be united and we can raise our voice and talk to people that this what is happening in Iran is unbelievable, it's beyond words. So let's do it together and please let's listen to each other that we can all make one kind of a sound and we can be all united. Thank you very much.
So we are going to go for a march now in the center. Please feel free to take the instruments and we will walk behind the banner. Thank you all so much. We will come back and reconvene after, so our program isn't over after the march. So please come back. Thank you.
Freedom!
زندگی آزادی زندگی آزادی
Wow, thank you so much. That was amazing. Thank you so much for your energy and your solidarity. We have one last bit to this program today. I just want to say that Iranian women, trans and queer folk, we have been through it all. We have been tortured, we've been beaten, we've been imprisoned, we've been executed, we've been raped, we've been beheaded, we've been circumcised, you name it in the book. But our spirit is not broken. We rise. In the tradition of feminist solidarity, I want to invite you all to form a circle at the Grote Markt in Groningen holding hands. We are going to play music and we are going to dance to show the world that we're still alive and we're fighting. And we'll keep fighting until the day that we can all live equally in Iran as women, as trans people, as queer people, as ethnic minorities, as religious minorities. We will prevail. Please dance in whatever way you like. Just take rhythm, get rhythm, and let's do this. Let's hold hands. We're not broken yet.
اقتصاد دستوری برای